Lesson 2.6, Concept 3, Writing a Compound Inequality from a Graph. So when you're looking at the graph, or a graph of a compound inequality, it should be pretty easy to tell whether it's an OR graph or an AND graph. Okay? OR graphs point away from each other. Right? An AND graph overlaps, and so you're looking at just the part of the solutions that overlap, so there's not going to be any arrows. Okay. When you are writing an equation from a graph, the first thing you're going to start with is you are going to draw in or write in your variables, okay, and then your values. So here I have x and I have -3, and I have x and I have 2. Okay, I know this is an OR graph, so I can go ahead and put OR between them. And then I need to figure out which signs I'm going to have between my variables and my constants. Okay, so if you see your graph open to the left, then you're going to put a less than sign. Right? If your graph opens to the right of your variable, then it'll be a greater than sign. All right? Just like before, you're going to use your arrows, the direction your arrows are pointing, to place your signs. Okay? The last thing you have to do is go back and look at your endpoints and find if either of them are filled. If they're filled circles, you need to go ahead and, or closed circle, you need to go ahead and put a or equal to below your sign. Right? So for this graph, I have that x is less than -3, but not including -3, or that x is greater than or equal to 2. Okay? If I'm doing a AND graph, I'm going to start with the same things. I have my x value, and I have -3, and then I can put in my and then my other x, and my 2. All right, and now you're going to do the same thing. It's just going to be a little bit backwards, right? My left endpoint is actually pointing to the right, so it's going to be x is greater than -3, and then my right endpoint, or my greater endpoint, is going to be pointing to the left, so x is going to be less than 2. And then the last thing is you still have to go back and you have to look for that closed circle and draw in your or equals to sign. And so for this one we have x is greater than or equal to -3 and x is less than 2.